someone based on what they call themselves or what their religion is. Yes, it is pretty easy, especially with a lot of Christians and a lot of how we grew up, because beforehand I would have thought the same thing. Before I started exploring more and seeking more knowledge, not only within the Christian faith, but also without. Um, Jumping to a conclusion based on someone's title, judging them based on a descriptor or anything else without talking to them and getting to know them, you end up in that place where God Himself told you to be careful not to be. To judge not lest you be judged in the same manner. And a lot of people, they don't want people to judge them just based on their religion. And when people do, then obviously there's backlash. So it goes both ways. That's kind of like, that's a street that goes both ways. And everybody's going to believe what they believe. But when you just act on judgment alone without knowing or hearing any explanation, and then after people hear an explanation and they still stick with that, that's where we have rough seas. That's where these debates turn into arguments, when there's an explanation given and you don't have to necessarily think that it's a good explanation, but it is nonetheless an explanation. So I apologize, I meant to have a specific ending statement, but it kind of, I hope my point got across to everybody.
It
No,
did.
that was hand clap. Hand clap.
It did. At the same time, everybody gonna judge. It's unrealistic not to judge. If you say you don't judge, you just lying. Like, you can strive to not judge less, but people gonna judge regardless.
My thing is, though, I want to ask this to Stacy specifically. Why does it bother you so much that we have a different religion? Why does it bother you so much that other people are living their life not according to what you think is God's plan? Why does it bother you so much that some people have a different faith and don't put their life in Yahweh or his demigod son?
Because it don't make sense to call yourself a Satanist and then get mad when I say you worshiping Satan. When I am clearly a Christian who clearly knows about Satan and God talks about Satan and we, you know what I'm saying, we are knowledgeable of him. And then when we come across people who say, oh, hey, I'm a Satanist, and their ideology, my religion, yet you don't believe in a religion. But in my Bible, it tells us that Satan's greatest trick is telling people that he doesn't exist.
But
Can
also,
I
here's the
ask
thing,
you, do you
though.
only think that? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Twisted.
Yeah, I'll let you do it in a sec. But the thing is, though, you're judging just based off the name, like debate said. You know, you see Satanists and you automatically assume that they're an evil, devil worshipping, sacrificing, and hurting people
No, that's what you think.
monster.
That's what you think. No, I don't.
But
But
why
First
do
of
you
you
all, y'all
call
literally,
think
those
Wiccans
are the
family.
words that
Satanists
came
First
out
then?
of
of
all,
your mouth.
listen.
Those were
First
the
of
words
no,
that
I
came
didn't.
out of
No, it
your
didn't.
mouth.
No, it didn't. First of
You
all,
said a lot of
Satanists come
Stacy,
people
from
why do
see
you
women.
call
Satanists.
Wiccans Satanists then?
You said a lot of people
Because the
see
churches do
Satanists.
that all the time.
You said
First
a
of
lot
all,
of
you
people
just said
see
churches do
Satanists
it. I'm
and
not
then they think
churches.
they're
I didn't say
evil.
that. So don't put words in my mouth. I'm not stupid.
You said a lot of people see Satanists and they automatically believe that they are horrible, evil people. Is that not what you said?
Yeah, I did.
So, like I just said, those words came from your mouth. You saw Satanist, and you automatically assumed that everyone in the panel
No,
is worshiping the devil.
no, I actually
When,
didn't. No, I didn't.
You guys just
but
literally
you
said in the
literally
comments.
said
That's
you
exactly what you
literally
said.
have it.
You
No.
literally commented that we all worship the devil when literally not all of us here are like Satanists. I'm not. I used to be one. I used to be like what the host does. That's why I feel like I can speak on it. But I'm not anymore. I'm
I
atheist.
don't
I'm just an
and
atheist
me
now.
I don't even worship the gods I follow. I don't worship anyone. No god deserves my worship. The only person, the only living being or whatever that has my worship is the woman who gave birth to me.
Hmm. I
That is the
actually
only.
agree with you on a lot of stuff, Twisted. That's why I like to come and have these open conversations because I feel like we agree on a lot of things and not because I am very spiritual and I stepped out of Christianity spiritually and accessed different deities spiritually. So I know exactly what you guys are talking about.
No, Stacy, I don't think you don't, because here's the thing that I see is very problematic with a lot of Christians on TikTok. We can't even sit and have pagan discussions. And if we don't let Christians into those discussions or let them up in the box, they get our lives shut down. And we're just talking about pagan things. I
Oh,
know one lady who had none of her panel had video or had cameras on, you know, nothing. And her lives got banned for nudity because you guys go around shutting down pagan live streams on
Or
here.
what about
I've
joining
seen far
lives
wait,
too
and then
wait,
many of
wait.
you do
constantly
it.
spamming
You can't
Jesus
just say
loves you
Christian.
or
All
God
Yep,
people are
loves you?
problematic. All
yep.
people, all religions are like all people. People are just problematic. That's a fact.
Show
Who if
me
they're
where
not?
pagans come in and shut down Christian live streams. Show
That
me
I
Or,
mean,
receipts.
that's.
or
I'm just
show me
saying,
where
as
pagans come
people,
into Christian lives and start going, Odin loves you, or Zeus loves you,
Yes.
or
Yep.
repent before this God,
but
or
lives is
turn
not
your
how
back
you.
to this
Show
God.
me screenshots because
Wait,
I
wait,
can prove
wait,
where
wait.
I can
TikTok Live is
prove
not
where
a
that
good metric
happens
to
to
use,
people. I
though.
can name a lot of
Wait,
creators that have been
Tik
shut down by
Tik
Christians.
TikTok Live is not a great metric to use to say how problematic people are. It's
Social
not really.
media
It's
isn't a
not.
good
Yeah, I
metric
mean,
to use.
it's not.
Social media is not okay.
Right, she's
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about
just
real
saying.
life.
Most people are
Okay.
problematic as humans. We all fall into a problematic category at some
You're
point.
deflecting.
I'm
You're
not deflecting.
deflecting.
No, he's
I'm
not. No,
deflecting
he's
what?
not. He's
Yes,
I'm
talking
not.
you
I
are.
truth.
don't have
I
a.
mean,
I'm in the
you know
middle. I
what?
don't
I'm
have
gonna
like.
agree.
Listen, how about this?
I'm
Wait,
Hey,
deflecting what? I don't have a standpoint.
I'll do you one better then.
whoa,
Fuck TikTok.
whoa.
How many pagans do you see out in the streets preaching? How many pagans do you see out in the street with those like fucking like I can't remember what they're called, the
But
big thing.
that's the bad metric to use
Because
also because there's
that how
more
is that a
Christians
bad
than
metric? So you
pagans.
never
There's
see
more Christians.
anybody. You
Wait,
never
can I
see
talk?
anybody that isn't a
Can I
Christian or a
talk?
Catholic
Dave,
doing that.
stop
Can I talk?
interrupting.
Statistically, there's
Or
more
doesn't matter.
Christians, so you're gonna see more Christians. That's just
There's
uh,
more
No,
Christians
there's
because
not.
But the thing
Christianity
there's
is, you
went
more.
don't
around
see
and
No,
TikTok. You don't
clawed.
Christianity
see any
is
other
the
religion doing it.
biggest religion in the world.
You don't even see like members of
Okay, hold
Islam
on.
doing things like that.
Debate. Do you know why Christianity is one of
What's
the
your
biggest in the world? Is because
What is
Christianity
it?
went around taking out everyone else that didn't agree with them.
Yeah,
Let's
because
talk
they
about
Guess
the
what?
Spanish
Exactly.
I mean
Inquisition.
Guess
that. I
what?
Let's
mean
talk about
you can
Europe
say
did
that.
the
You
the
can
same
argue
Spanish
thing.
that, but
Japan
at
did
the
the
same
Inquisition,
same
time,
the
thing.
Crusade.
look.
Japan
Uh,
did the same thing, and they weren't Christians. So
You
what do you
look. Can I
mean?
say something? But you can say that, but that's besides the point, though. That's like saying that Christians were
No,
evil.
it's
Is
not.
beside. No. That's besides the point.
Yes, it is.
No.
No, it's not.
Listen. I'm gonna give you an
No,
example.
see, when we
You.
want to
No. You
address the
saying that
atrocities
people
of
who are
Christians,
pagan are less
y'all pull
problematic.
hold
this
There's no
on,
mess.
Lady
statistic that
Blind Wolf. Let
towards
him
that.
talk. He
besides
was
social
talking.
media
You're
wasn't
interrupting.
That's not a.
Let him
That's
talk.
not a. That's not a fact. I'm just saying people in general are problematic. Most people are problematic at one point, and if you deny that, you're just lying. Most people are going to be
Let
problematic
but
based
let
on their
Lady
we're
Blind
beliefs.
talk.
talking about
Lady Blind, go
problematic. We're
ahead.
talking about weaponizing a religion to oppress people.
Hold on, Patch. Let's let Lady Blind Wolf go.
We don't go door to door. I mean, and my kids had to run from Mormons the other day. We
Mormonism
don't
is
do
a
none
learned
of that
No,
religion.
stuff.
debate.
Hey,
Let them
debate.
finish.
I need you to mute when you're not talking so that you don't get that compulsion because I have it too and I have to mute myself to talk over somebody. I know I'm not getting on to you because
Me
I've done it
too.
multiple times this live too.
Me too.
All right. So who wants the floor right now?
Can I get the floor?
Yes, go ahead.
Mormonism, I do not accept that as a random religion by a racist white person made in the 1880s. I do not accept Mormonism. I do not accept that at all. But to say one religion
It,
is less
Christianity's
problematic
not.
is just not a fact. That's not a statistic. You can't use TikTok Live for that. You can agree to disagree, but saying a group of people that are religious are just problematic, that's not a fact.
But it
Um,
is a fact. How is it
go
not a
ahead.
fact? You see, we're
it
It's
not.
is
not
a
a
fact.
Not
stat.
even just. But the
If
thing
it's a
is,
fact,
oh
give me a
my God,
stat.
Jesus, motherfucking Christ!
Give
You
me
kept
a
saying
stat.
TikTok isn't. You said TikTok isn't a good metric, so we used examples that actually happen out with like social media and out with online, and you're like, that's not a good metric. So what is a good
Yeah, it's
metric for
not a
you?
good metric.
Is it the
You know what it
thousands
is?
of years of oppression that Christianity did, like to literally try and take over the world, or how about like the genocides they caused? Like what? What's a good metric for
You
you?
can have your opinion, but your opinion to become malicious when you say, "Oh, Christians do this bad. Christians do this bad. They're
No, but they
problematic."
did.
That's when it
But
becomes malicious.
there was thousands of people that have utilized Christianity to oppress people. So what metric system are you trying to use here?
You have to use
Can
stats.
you answer me the question
Like
of
so,
why
like
Christians like to travel to
even
other
by
countries or
stats,
continents?
Christians still commit like the most like hate crimes and stuff like it, or like Christian like
Or
pastors and
Christians.
things like that. Like what?
Look, most people are
Can I ask
Christians. So
why? Hold on, hold
what are
on.
you
Can I
talking
ask
about?
why Christians
Then
feel
you
the
need
need
to.
to
Oh my
travel?
god.
Can I have you? Can you answer why Christians feel the need to travel outside the country or continent to another place to try to convert people who already either have a set of religious beliefs, or don't have religion at all, to try to convert them?
Europeans, not Christians. European Christians.
It
There's
doesn't
a
matter. Y'all
difference.
take
No, 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 no.
mission
Yes, it
trips,
does.
mission
Yes, it
trips
does.
to convert other people.
Yes, it
Why?
does. It does
Why does
matter
it matter?
I would
because they're
say
Tell me.
European. Because they're
99%
But
European.
of the
why does
people
it?
can't afford
Why
mission
are you
trips.
guys traveling to try to convert people
That's a
who already
minority.
have a set religious bounds?
Not really a
That's a
minority, but
minority of people in current society. Maybe
it's
if
not
you say
really
at
a
the
minority.
1700s, most people don't take mission trips. Most people can't afford it. That's not realistic. Most people
Right.
just
But
go
it
on with their
still
life.
happens. It still happens,
It's
though.
My,
Europeans. That's a different culture. Do you
It's
It's
not
understand?
not
You
just
just
can. Do you
Europeans.
Europeans.
understand? Do you
It's
understand that
not
you
just
can have?
Europeans.
Do you
It's
you can
not
understand?
just
Yes, it is.
Europeans.
Yes, it is. Yes,
No,
it
it's
No,
is.
it's not.
not.
Yes, it
No,
is.
it's
Just
not. No, I'm sorry.
Europeans.
You're literally no. I'm going to call your bullshit right now. What about the American missionary that literally went to like some mad island to try and like convert a whole group of like a whole
you
tribe,
can't.
and then they cannibalized them? He was
Every church
American. Stop saying it. It's just European. It's
that's
literally
a random
worldwide.
Sweetie,
minority
It's
though.
Christians
sweetie,
across the world. It's
sweetie.
Christians in America. It's Christians in Europe. It's
The
Christians in
West, when
Australia.
I'm saying the West,
Worldwide.
European and America is the same thing, sweetheart. What are
No,
you
it's
talking about? It's the
no,
same.
it's
Is it
no, it's not.
colonization?
No,
Yes, it
bro,
is. The
what?
Pat,
colonization
No,
of
it's
America and Europe
not.
is the same.
Pat,
Yes,
that
it
was a random
is.
statement. I'm sorry. Saying
Europe
that
is a fucking
Lily has
continent.
her hand up. Let's all stop and let her go. Say, I don't know your pronouns. I'm sorry if I misgendered
They
you.
them.
Who,
Are
me?
you? Yes. What is
I
your
hear
I'm
pronouns so
she,
I
her.
can?
No,
an
yo, no,
Irish
I'm
Okay.
she, her. You're
accent.
good.
Cool.
Okay, so,
Okay, I
um,
hear an Irish accent. Patch, are you from Ireland?
Scottish.
Oh, okay, never mind then. I was gonna make a point, but it in Ireland, it's recently been found out about how the church was unaliving babies and leaving the bodies in drainage ditches.
That happens in
So
Scotland.
there's
And
that,
that happens around the
Because
world.
they're in
and then
Europe.
and
That's
then the
why.
bodies were just
Because they're in
uncovered
Europe.
that's a
recently.
Let's let
lady
Kimberly
Blanc.
go, 'cause she had her
That's a
hand up
random
and she was
fact.
waiting.
What?
Yeah, Tube
Because of
Ireland, it is
Europe.
a fact. Go look it up.
That's
Tube
random though.
Ireland.
That's a minority. That
Yeah.
doesn't happen to most people.
And that's it. Because it's
Hey,
in Europe. That's what
No, wait,
European
whoa,
people
whoa,
do.
whoa, whoa! Please don't
whoa,
say it's a
whoa.
minority. If you no, wait, you just said it's a minority. Residential schools, it's not a minority. Don't you dare say it's a minority. Look what Christians
And
done to
just
like
because it's a
indigenous
minority
people in
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
make
yeah.
America.
it
What
wrong.
about residential schools?
okay, so let me
Let
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 me go
let
ahead and
let's go
interject real
there.
quick. Let me go ahead and interject
I'm
real quick.
sorry,
So,
everybody
two
froze.
things. It's okay. No, you're good, hon. Um, two things, two topics. Uh, one, I was gonna address debates like what would be a good system to use, and Patch was already kind of going into it. Patch was going into the history. I can even go into my own experiences and a lot of things that I have learned, and I'm going to step back to that one here in just a second. But stepping to my second um, subject, I'm sorry, I'm losing words a little bit, but it was just found out, and I believe, unless somebody has more information on this than I do, uh, I do believe that here in America, the South Baptist Church which is a very big Christian organization, and I know it doesn't represent all. I am going to state that I acknowledge that. But the South Baptist Church, it was leaked. There was a whistleblower that showed that they had paperwork of upwards of 700 something, probably around 800, uh, basically paperwork filled out for victims of SA from people that were within the church, and a lot of them were leaders. And we know for a fact that most people who are victims of that do not talk about it. So, in my personal opinion, and I'm just going to state this specific part as a personal opinion, I think that number is probably doubled. But
It was
there's
pages
a
of names.
yeah, and so
Because you said
that's
you
one
didn't
thing
know.
that
It
can
was 700 pages of names.
And
But
oh
I'm
Kimberly,
gonna
700
say
pages.
this: most people that do
That's
talk,
because
most
of
people
people. That is
scary
not
stuff.
because of God. That is because of
wait,
people.
We
Kimberly,
are
do you think
talking
there's
You
over
a?
each
can't
other
blame
again.
God. You
Debate,
can't
Can I ask
blame
you a
mute
God
question,
for
yourself.
Kimberly?
that.
Mhm.
No,
Do
everybody
you
mute.
Debate.
think
Everybody mute for a moment.
Do you think PD0 is in like correlation with Christians? Do you think that is that like a that's what you think it is? Do you think that makes
I
or
don't
do you
think. Go
or do
ahead.
you
Sorry.
think PD0 people are just masking themselves as Christians to make it easier? Because a PD0 is gonna be a PD0 wherever he goes.
I mean, a lot of them are in the church though,
Yeah,
because they
because it's
state.
easy. It's easy for them to. They're not real Christians by
How do
definition.
you
Then
know though? How? Wait, no. That is my biggest thing about Christians is when another Christian does something they don't agree with or they don't follow, they're not a real Christian.
no, if you
They
don't
worship the
follow
same.
Christ, you're
No,
not a
stop,
Christian.
stop, 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 stop. They worship the same God as you. They go to church just like you. They do their churchly duties or whatever they do
You
on
don't have to go to
Sundays or
church.
whatever time. I'm still talking. Holy fuck. They still do all that shit. So how are they not real Christians?
But
Because they do
based
something
on how
that
they living.
you
What you
so
can go to
because of
church
how
every day
because
But
of they live a
see,
different way than you, they're not a real Christian.
at the time. No, while they're committing their acts, they're not a Christian. You're not a Christian.
Wait,
You can become a Christian
but
again.
makes
You can try to.
sense.
No, because
That's not how it works.
people commit horrendous acts in the name
And
of
then become
God all the
Christianity.
time, and that is actually the true meaning of taking the Lord's name in vain. It's not saying God damn, it's saying I do this because of God, or God told me to do this, or I do this in the name of God. That's taking the Lord's name in vain, and that is what a lot of Christians do.
And can I also
and
say,
I would like to say, hold on,
can
I'd like to say something. Because you said, "Oh, that's not a real Christian." That would include every fucking Christian, because every Christian does not follow Jesus Christ's word. They do not follow it throughout life. Every day, they do not follow it. So every Christian isn't a real Christian because
There's
they
a
don't
difference
follow their
between
word
not
in
following it
the
and just
beginning.
sinning, though.
And I
Okay,
want to
hold
add
on.
on to something that Talon said as well, like, because you obviously, you turned around and said, oh, do you think these people go and hide under the guise of Christianity to do this? Some may do, yes, but that's still, like, the church still helps them cover it up. Churches have molestation insurance and SA insurance and things like that. So even if these people are even if these people aren't real Christians and they're utilising Christianity to do this, the churches are helping them cover it up because they're going, well, you're a fellow Christian. We'll don't you worry. You're still a true God believer. We'll help you hide this. And they do that. We can literally see throughout history that they've done this. Even like in Catholicism, like the newest freaking Pope, literally when he became the Pope, got rid of so many different priests that were involved in vast majority of SA scandal because he didn't agree with it, and he just was literally like, this is not true Catholicism, covering it up and all that isn't Catholicism. And he outed loads of these people. We're seeing it every single day. I'm on Twitter every day. Every single day I scroll through Twitter on my newsfeed, at least 5 different youth pastors have been arrested for having CP or fiddling children. Christian
Okay.
youth pastors in America. That's the most common people that are doing it.
So,
What about
Patch,
the
can I
guy
can I ask you
who?
a question?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, hold on. What about Murray in prison? Because he told him that God, it was God's justice. So God
I have
told
to
him that
look
he
at
has to
that.
do this, and the fact that Jeffrey Dahmer also turned his life to Christ and got baptized. What about Schmittler? Schmittler was also a Christian, and he was doing all this in the name of God.
You can
What
cherry
about
pick,
Greg
but
Locke?
can I, Patch? Can I ask you a question?
Are
Sure.
you hold on? Are you
So,
gonna address my? Are you gonna address
I
my
mean, I
question?
did say
I
something first,
don't
so
know. I'm not
let
God.
him respond
I
to
don't
me
want to judge
first.
that person. I don't want to. I don't really have no
But
judgment towards it.
you
What
said
about Greg
I'm
Locke?
No, Patch. Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Statistically, right? If there's 2.6 billion Christians in the world, right? If there's 2.6 billion, right? Wouldn't it make sense that some of them people is just going to commit crimes because it's so much? It's the group of people is so large to the point where whatever they do as a person has nothing to do with whether or not they're a Christian or not. Because there's 2.6 billion people in the world.
What's your point?
The point is,
I
whatever
don't.
crime they commit, that has nothing to do with them being Christian. That's irrelevant to the fact because there's so many other people.
But it's
Obviously,
got no. But
if
it, no.
Christian,
But the
no,
problem
can I
is
talk?
no, 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 no. I'm going to respond to what you just said there
I'm just
because
saying.
it does. It has everything to do with a Christian because the churches cover it up. They do it under the guise of Christianity. There are literally victims that are told God told me to do this to you. So yeah, being Christian has everything to do with it when they're weaponizing it. See, when something's weaponized for so long, it starts to become not a very good thing. You know what I mean? Especially when it's still like weaponized to this day.
Debate. What
You,
happens when a Satanist does something wrong?
they just do something wrong. They just
What
sinned.
what happens in the media?
They're literally
I don't
like,
know. I haven't
you know
seen
what?
that
I
in the
can tell you
media.
what happens in the
I
media.
never hear about it.
So
It's such a
What
minority.
happened
no,
when
I
someone
can't.
from Islam does something wrong? What
They're
happened when a
literally
pagan does something
demonized.
wrong and hits
The
the
media
media?
demonizes people that aren't like white Christian men. Because see, when like white Christian men unalive their like wives and all that, the media are like, "Oh my God, this lovely man! Nobody would have ever thought somebody that's maybe I don't know Islam, maybe follows Islam. Oh, this person quite obviously must have been a terrorist. Things like that
Can
is what the media makes it out to be."
can,
Or
can
what
you
about the
understand stats
large
though? Can
amount
you
of
understand the stats?
grooming? What about the large amount of grooming that pastors do for
The
to their
stats don't
wives
work in
when
your
they're
favor.
literally like in
I'm
their
not
youth
gonna
the
lie,
group
stats
and
bro.
though?
they
See,
groom
I'm
them
not gonna
until
lie.
they're
The stats don't work in your favor because you're sitting there going, "Oh, what if some of them?" Yeah, some of them might do it, but the vast majority of people in these stats are doing it under the guise of Christianity.
Look.
So
Example, can you please type? No, yeah, no, y'all good. Y'all not gigging up because I'm using stats. Let me use stats. So this be
the stats
logic,
don't
right?
work in your favor.
Oh, oh, I don't
there
need
is not
nobody.
another Christian.
If there's 2.6 billion Christians in the world, right? Right?
Right?
More Christians. If Christians is the biggest sample size of people in the world, that's a fact. If there's more people, there will be more crime committed. That's just a fact. No matter the demographic,
Okay. Okay.
no matter if that 2.6 billion were Muslim or they was like Buddhist, that's just a fact. That's a fact. 2.6 billion people are Christians. Everything Christian people do that's wrong, that's have nothing to do with them being Christian or not. Yeah, they don't
Whatever to do
correlate.
with them being
Why
Christian,
don't
but
they look
okay.
up the stats of
Okay, so
crimes committed
The
by
stats.
Christians and crimes
I've
Yeah.
committed
I've
by
asked
pagans
him
and crimes
several
Because it's
committed
times
by
and he won't
2.6
answer.
billion Christians.
You
no,
can't.
you're talking about all the people in the world about it has nothing to do with it being Christian. So basically, what you're saying is they did a crime, but I don't consider them real Christians, so we're just going to throw it under the rug.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
even
you
saying
can't do
that. I'm
that.
just saying if 2.6 billion people
Yep.
are the group is 2.6 billion, right?
I really
Realistically,
don't
most of
know.
them
I'm
crimes
sorry.
have
I do
nothing to do
know,
with being
like, these are
Christian or not.
guilty population fallacies. I
No, it
They're
don't.
doesn't
just
have
bad
anything
people.
See
to
by
do
that.
with
See by that logic.
Christianity,
No,
but
wait. Let
they
me
are
finish.
Christian.
Please, Talon. Let me finish. Because see by
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
logic, right? There are more. There's literally more Chinese people than there are white people in the entire world, right? So by like your logic, then like why is there not more Chinese people in prison than there are white people? Like your logic doesn't
What?
make any sense.
That
It's like
doesn't
you're
make
like
Patch.
population file,
You gotta
like
restate that
you're
because I
literally
didn't
appealing to a
understand that.
population. It doesn't make any sense, especially when you're trying to do it with stats. And then when we actually look at the individual stats, you see how many of these people are followers of Christ. They're Christians. How many of the churches cover it up and things like that. Like the
So you
stats
think
don't work
there's
in your
over a
favor.
billion murderers and
Hold
that
on,
Christian murders
hold
right
on,
now
Pat.
today?
Hold on, Pat.
There's a
You
billion
are
Yeah.
right.
murders.
Debate. Hold on.
Yeah,
Debate.
That's not a true stat.
in the world probably.
Stop. Um,
I'd
you're,
like to
you're
ask a question and I haven't been able to. I'd like to ask the gentleman, what about Jim Jones and what happened with him? And he was a pastor. What about individuals like Greg Locke, who have publicly, and there's more than one, publicly said that they cannot wait till it is legal to unalive LGBTQ as well as pagans, and who advocates marital SA. What about individuals like that? Who also has publicly said that children that are born with autism are in fact demonically possessed. These people had Jim Jones, close to 1,000 people he unalived, all of his followers. Greg Locke has thousands of followers that do whatever the man commands.
Those are just evil people.
What
That's
about
not a good
individuals
argument.
like that?
Well,
That's a
hold on.
random
There's
evil
also
They're
person.
pastors.
That's
These
a
are
random.
pastors.
Yes, most people are
debate.
going to be
This
You
Christians.
were right.
pastor is with
Look,
thousands of followers. Yes, it
that
is
don't
a
make
good
thousands
argument.
of followers,
The
but you got to
the
use
problem
logic.
with you though is that you're listening. You're talking over people, and two, you're not hearing what we're saying. You're
You're
listening
not
to
saying
respond, and
anything.
that's the difference.
I'm for the sake of debate. Let's argue. If you talking about 2.6 billion people, you're not
Debate. All
supposed to
right, hold
use
on, hold on,
situations.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
Situations
Before
is
you go into
irrelevant.
this
That's not
again,
logical. You can't
before
use
you go
minority
into this
situations with
again,
2.6 billion people. That's
before
not
you go
logic.
into this again, before you go into that part again, you are right. You are very correct. It has nothing to do with them being Christian, but it is the fact that time in doing these atrocities.
That
It is
will
not the
happen
fact. It
regardless,
doesn't have.
though.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they are doing it because they're Christian. It's the fact that they are Christian doing these things.
Yeah, the fact that they are Christian is
They're doing
irrelevant,
it in
though.
the name of Christian as well. They're saying we're doing it because we're Christian.
They're just evil, sadistic people. So look, let me give you an example.
It's the
So
religion.
let's say
But
let's say
I
can
gave you
can I talk?
examples, and you won't acknowledge the examples that I gave you.
No. You
That's
giving
what's
minority? That's
frustrating.
different.
You
I'm
have
giving different.
nothing to say about a man saying children are demonically possessed because they're born with a disability. You have nothing to say about that. You want to deflect.
I'm not
So I'm
deflecting
going to
that.
ask
I'm
you
not
again.
judging that. I
What do
don't
you
think
have
that
to say?
is true.
Okay,
I
then
don't think that is true. I
what is your
obviously I
response
do
to
not
my
agree with that.
statement?
Can I talk to Twist for a second? So let's say hypothetically there was 3 billion Buddhist people, right?
No. Address my statement
I
because you
said
keep
I
talking
don't
over
agree with
people.
that. I
So
said I
let's
don't
stick to
agree
the
with that.
point that
I
I
do
made.
not agree with that. I do not agree with that. No, I do not agree with that. Now can I ask Twist a question? If there's 3 billion people, right? If there's
But
3
those are pastors
I
with
don't agree
thousands
with
of
what evil people
followers.
do. What are you talking about? I don't agree. That's evil. That's not in the Bible. Nobody told them to do that shit. They're just sadistic, evil
They're
people.
doing it in the name of
It,
God.
It
So
don't matter what they're
that's a
doing. They're evil
problem.
people, though. It
the
don't matter
Bible
what they're
tells
doing.
you that
They're
that a
doing it
woman
because
who is
they're evil.
SA'd must be sold to her SA'er.
Look,
The
they're
Bible
evil.
says that
Look,
a woman that is SA'd must be sold. It does say that if your
evil
woman
people
has
gonna
an
do evil
affair,
things.
to
All in the New
literally
Testament, all
unalive
you gotta
her.
do is follow Jesus. All that other stuff is irrelevant.
But it's in the Bible.
It's in
But
the
All
it's
that other
in the
stuff
Bible.
is
Bible.
irrelevant.
It's in
That's the point. It
So
doesn't matter
You
what
follow
part
the
you
New
follow.
Testament.
Like, no,
Anything in the old,
this is the thing, right? It doesn't matter what
that's
testament you're.
irrelevant.
No. It doesn't matter what testament you follow. Your God said that was okay. That is the fucking point.
But
The whole point is it's in the book, and at a point it was apparently okay. That is the freaking point. That is messed up, bro.
Bible
So do you think
advocates
your religion is
abortion.
all good, all amazing, stuff like that? Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, somebody, like, that other guest as well was sitting talking about how the devil manipulates people. How about when, like, God manipulated a man into, like, about to unalive his own child just to prove his love for him? Like, you want to talk about that?
Can I please talk for a second?
they have not gotten a chance to speak,
But
and we are going to let them speak now.
but lady just spoke though.
And I'm as what did I just say?
The new guest, Liquid Thoughts, that went above me.
So what the fuck?
Hey,
That don't
you know
make
what?
sense.
Just hey, give it a chance here. Let me say one thing. It's gonna be quick. Then I'm gonna mute really quick. Okay. First things first. I got two things. First things first. I see a lot of people wanting to do things like throw out statistics and whatnot. It's nothing but garbage and wind and air unless you have your source. So if you're gonna throw up a statistic, please state your source so that myself and others can look it up to see what you're talking about. Okay. That should be fair across the board, right?
Kind of, but not really. It's a
Yeah,
fact.
absolutely. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, it's just not a fact because
No,
you
no,
don't have a
no.
source.
No. It's a fact. We all know that Christianity is the biggest religion in the world. Whether that's from colonialism, we all can
Now, if
agree
you
on
look
that.
at Islam and the other countries involved there, you'd probably think a little bit differently.
No,
Now,
Christianity.
the,
I've
No,
already
the
looked
other
up
thing,
because
the other
Christianity
thing I
is the
colonialism,
wanted to
biggest
say,
Christianity
religion.
is the
the
biggest
other,
religion in the world. That's
hold
a
on,
fact.
I said I had two things. The other thing is the whole argument overall He's painting, and I'm an atheist. I was raised Catholic, but I'm an atheist. I left the church a long time ago. But there's a big brush painting all Christians, saying because it was a pastor or because it was a this or that. No, those are evil individuals. Those crimes are also committed by non-Christians. Those
I agree.
crimes are also committed by Muslims. Across the board, religion itself has nothing to do with the actions of those individuals. So you can't paint the 14-year-old girl who just received First Holy Communion as a pedophile because she's a Christian. She's not. She's just a Christian. She's growing up in a religion. She wants to do good. Let's leave her alone. Let's leave the others alone and go after people for the crimes that they committed. And it's those people. I'm done.
That's good. That was a great take. That's why I've been trying to. I guess you said it better than me. I've been trying to portray that the whole time.
Okay, so if I may, and then if you guys are okay, I'm gonna let Haru speak because they also have their hand up. The main reason why we were bringing up those examples, Liquid, was because I believe it was mostly I don't remember if her name was it Stacy. I do not remember her name, and I apologize. But so she was in here before, and she herself was throwing out random statements, basically painting everyone, either most everyone on this panel or Satanists in general, with a wide brush as well. And so for us, we were trying to kind of make a comparison and make a point of that, which is, and I kind of already made my statement about judge not lest you be judged, and I referenced the Bible, but we were kind of trying to show the hypocrisy of it, basically, is for that specifically, and that's why we kept bringing up certain specific things.
No,
Now, I
I
will
get
say
it.
debate has been, yeah, and I know debate has been pretty neutral, or as neutral as he can be, and that's commendable, actually. But that was the main reason for that.
Yeah, it's just
I
when
believe that was it, so I'm going to pass it off to Haru.
I just wanna react to that really quick, and then again I'm gonna mute. When I hear people bringing up the preacher or this guy or that guy, and then like some serial killer or something like that, it's people's need to have a demon, to have a villain in that particular thing. Oh, did I? I apologize. I'm sorry. You know I like you and I respect your channel or your platform. Sorry, but that's my thing. It's people's need to have a villain.
That was the point I was trying to portray earlier. People are going to be evil. That's why I said. That's why I used the stat. That's why I said if 3 billion people are Buddhists, they're still going to be evil. Like evil people are going to be evil regardless,
I disagree with that because
no matter
Buddhists are
what
some of the
religion they
most
are.
peaceful people on the planet. Buddhists follow the teachings of Buddha.
No. I'm just using a random example. I'm not saying Buddhists. I'm just saying.
Don't use Buddhists.
No. I'm
Use a
saying
different example.
if there were 3 billion Buddhists, whether you like it or not, just statistically, there would be evil Buddhists. That's just a fact.
How?
Evil people
Because
will be
the
evil no
very
matter what
teachings
religion.
of
Because
Buddha,
when
the
serial
very
killers, they have
the
something wrong
very
with them. People
teachings
who are
of
evil are going to be
Buddha
evil no matter
were
what their
not
faith is.
evil. The very teaching of Buddha was enlightenment and peace.
I mean, but oh my!
Anybody who calls themselves a Buddhist have accepted
I just
all of what
used a
Buddha
random
preached.
religion. You trying to make it something I'm not. I'm just any religion. If there's 3 billion people, if there's any group of 3 billion people, there's going to be evil people within inside of that group. Can we agree on that? That's a fact. Can we agree on that?
Not with Buddhists, but yeah.
Oh my God, bruh.
I mean, I just
Why you
said
trying to
yeah,
be
but just not with Buddhists.
why you trying to be difficult, bruh?
I'm not. I'm agreeing with you, just not with Buddhists.
God.
I
Evil people
mean,
will be evil. Evil people are just evil people. They're gonna be no
I
matter what
really
their
want to
faith
agree
is.
with you because, like, Buddhists are, like, normally a peaceful religion, but there has been Buddhist terrorist organizations, so I'll just look that up. There was one literally called the Democratic Karen Buddhist Army, DKBA, headed by Buddhist monk Yu Fizana since 1992. So,
That I
like,
did not know. So
yeah, they're quite nationalistic too.
All I'm saying is
Haru
evil
and
people is gonna
her
be evil
hand
people, no
raised.
So
matter
like
the
yeah,
faith.
there are like so yeah, 100% there's evil people like everywhere, but I can't think of any other like religions where they have en masse like tried to take over the world through colonization, white supremacy, genocides, and things like that. The way Christianity
Well,
has, and
you,
again,
you,
en masse means in mass numbers, so it's not just a select few; it's big groups of people doing this in the name of Christianity throughout history. And
those are evil people though. But if you change their religion, those people will still be
All right,
just as
but no
evil
other religion's done
let's
it.
let
That's the
because
Haru talk.
point I'm
because there's
trying to
no
make.
other
But
religion
yeah,
with
Harry, on
2.6
you go.
billion
Sorry,
people.
bestie.
Let's let
The-
Haru talk.
Okay, my loves. Um, at the moment, it is currently 2:35 a.m., so I do have to head off. And
2:35
I
a.m.
apologize. I apologize for stopping the live just for that, but I wanted to be polite and say my goodbyes.
Wow. Have a nice day.
Yeah, guys.
Good night. Go to sleep.
Mwah.
Hey, it's 12 a.m. here. 12 p.m. here. Wow, I'm at.
I'm sorry. I need to reply to a comment. Islam haven't went around trying to like commit mass genocides, and they were literally like persecuted. Muslims have been persecuted by Christians throughout history. So yeah, you do your bibs.
I'm still trying to get over fucking Stacy because good fucking lord, that shit was